y'all, this is Marla K. Hope everybody is well. Today I'm going to talk a little boring about something that's boring. It's not boring to me, but it's something that's really important for our people, Black people, because these are things that we don't necessarily pay attention to because we don't read. We will watch the news and listen to what Mr. Charlie and them tell us about the environment, about the economy, about jobs, and people don't really understand that these folks lie 24/7, and they're going to lie until the bottom falls completely out. The bottom already got a hole in the bag, but the bottom has not completely fallen out yet. So I was doing some research for a project that I'm working on. And I ran across this data because I was trying to find some poverty information for senior citizens. I needed to be able to talk about the need for affordable housing. Now, I understand that affordable housing, this whole affordable housing, mixed housing, uh, housing needs for low to moderate income individuals is all a part of this new global order to control housing, to make sure everybody who's poor has a place to stay. And so I get that, but I still got to work. This is what I do. So um, during this process, I've just been seeing things that have really been alarming to me. And so I want to talk about it because this is tied to the economy and money and employment. And for Black people, we don't always understand how much the government watches us and controls our money, how much we keep and how much we spend. So I'm going to do this video, and it's not going to be long, because the goal of this is to introduce you to something, and then hopefully on your own you will click on the links in the description or in the comment section and do your own research. I can only introduce you to certain things. I can't tell you everything I know. I don't have time. I can't tell you how in depth you need to go into it to get the understanding that I have. And I can't make it important to you. You have to learn how to get this information for yourself. But the purpose of this is um, we live in a nation that controls every aspect of our lives. And as this economy collapses, as we go through this transition, because right now we're in the middle of global orders, one is falling and the other one is rising, it is going to impact us. And we know why it's going to impact us, because everything on this earth is really about us. Good versus evil, light versus darkness, um, the chosen against the even. So we have to be aware of all of the adversaries' devices that are going to be weaponized against us. And so that's why I'm talking about this, because it's tied to money and currency. And because we are captives, and this is how this system and society works that we all are ensnared in, we need to understand this particular device. So today I'm going to bring you some information from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and it's about the Consumer Price Index. It's not from an investing perspective. It is about how our dollar is being devalued and you are getting less for your money. And this is going to be a continuing pattern, which is tied to preparation. So while things are still reasonable, while your money is still valuable, you need to use it. Whether it is if you have money in savings, whether it's you have 401k, whether it's you have Roth IRA, whatever you have, CDs, gold, silver, whatever. If it's not going to be tangible and you can't use it, it's going to be worthless soon. And the only things that will be of importance soon. Like Brother Yuta was saying, which was so um, prevalent when I read his comment this morning. You know, the person who's going to have food and water will be kings. The person who has tools to fix things and skills, those will be people who will survive. The person who has some seeds and can grow some stuff or trade for those things will be a valuable commodity in their communities, because your money is not going to be worth anything. You may work and you may have to have a lot of people in your household just to keep a roof over your head, but it still doesn't mean you're going to have enough money for food. And so this is where this is going. So the consumer price index, which is what we're going to talk about a little bit, is a measure of the average change over time in the prices paid by urban consumers. And y'all remember I told y'all urban means black. Always, always, always understand that. Our government has always spoken coded languages about us, and this is a measure. They're measuring. You know, they say urban, you might say urban is city, urban is this, urban is that. But in the beginning, urban meant black. City meant black. Ghettos, where we are. So take this for what it's worth. Um, So they are monitoring how prices paid by, scratch out urban and say black consumers, for a market basket of consumer goods and services. Indexes are available for the U.S. and various geographic areas. The average price data for select utility, automotive fuel, and food items are also available. So I'm going to share with you the most recent report that came out. And I will put links to these two sites that I'm talking about today. They're the same site, but these two pages that I want to talk to you about today, because I want to show you how prices are continually going up. And life is going to become so that you're not going to be able to afford to do a whole lot of things. You might be managing today to pay your light bill, to pay your phone bill, to pay your rent or your mortgage, to buy groceries, to do some recreational things, to pay people to provide services for you, to ride the bus, to buy lunch out or go out to dinner, pay childcare, get your hair done, get your hair cut. A lot of this stuff is getting ready to be cut out soon. And so I want to show you how our dollar is being devalued every day because of inflation. So this is the most recent consumer price index summary. It came out on Wednesday, April 10th, 2024, and the next report will come out in May. But this is the consumer price index for March 20th, 2020, March 2024. So this says the March Consumer Index for all urban black consumers increased 0.4% in March on a seasonally adjusted basis, the same increase as in February. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Over the last 12 months, the all items index increased 3.5% before seasonal adjustment. So they're literally telling us that the price of everything has risen 3.5% overall. The index for shelter, and when they say index, they just say it's price. The price for shelter rose in March, as did the price for gasoline. Combined, these two indexes contributed over half of the monthly increase in the index for all items. So your housing is going up and gas is going up. We all saw the prices. And housing is going up because rents are going up in areas, because the real estate bubble is about to bust and correct itself, because everything is imaginary. Mortgage prices are going up because insurance rates are going up and people cannot afford to pay their insurance. Um, Interest rates for loans, home loans, increased. And so people are having to spend more of their income on housing. Rents are going up because the cost of real estate for people who own rental properties are going up. So they have to pass the increases on to renters. I don't know if that's actually so. Sometimes I just think these places are able to manipulate rents because they just can, because of this type of information. So they just raise the rates and make it hard for people. But I don't think it's always necessary for them to pass the cost on to people in such a way that it makes having a home, a shelter over your head, impossible. But this is what it is. So it says the energy index rose 1.1% over the month. So the price for energy went up 1.1%. The food index rose 0.1% in March. So the price of food is going up. The food at home index was unchanged, while the food away from home index rose 0.3% over the month. So if you eat out, the cost of food has gone up tremendously. And I noticed a couple of places that I like to go in my little town have raised the prices to, you know, it was such an increase that like it is almost impossible to go out and eat now. And yeah, I heard the lady who owned one of the little bar and grills that I like to go to, she was saying that they she raised the rate because she went to Burger King and she was like, I paid $10 for a burger meal, and she said it's not even real meat. She said our burgers are real hand patted hamburgers, and we get real fries, and we charge less than they do. So she said I came back and I told my mom we got to raise our prices. So they took down their regular menus, they printed up some paper menus, and they raised the prices for all their food. Now, I'm going to still go to that restaurant because I like their food. I want to patronize small businesses. That's what I try to do. I try not to eat out that much, but when I'm busy and sometimes I don't have time to cook, I will go out to eat. But I'm not going to be able to eat there as much as I used to because it's cheaper to drink alcohol than it is to eat food. So I just can't afford to eat there. I now when I'm ordering now, I'm gonna be very selective about what I get off of the menu. But the point being that the cost of buying food for restaurants has increased tremendously, and they're passing the cost on to us. The food in the grocery stores are also increasing, but not at the rate as it is for restaurants. But all of us are still spending more on the things that we actually need and rely on to survive in this society. It is not going to get any better. I'm gonna stop saying index. I'm just gonna say price. The price for all items minus food and energy rose 0.4% in March, as it did in each of the two preceding months. For the last couple of months, prices have been rising. Prices which increased in March include shelter, motor vehicle insurance, which we've been talking about, and that's happening because they're trying to get us off of fossil fuels and they want us to get into these electric vehicles. And I have a story that I'm going to share with you where they going to rent electric vehicles for like $6 a day. We'll talk about that later. Medical care. Medical care is expensive now. Apparel, clothing, and personal care. So you notice all the things that you need um, are expensive. The prices for used cars, trucks, recreation, and new vehicles were among those that decreased over the month. The all items index rose 3.5% for the 12 months ending March, a larger increase than the 3.2% increase for the 12 months ending in February. So the prices are being increased drastically. They're not decreasing. So this is why when you have extra money, you have to buy the things that you need now. Nothing is going down. The price of everything is going to continue to go up. The all items minus food and energy price rose 3.8% over the last 12 months. The energy index increased 2.1%, or the energy price increased 2.1% for the 12 months ending March, the first 12-month increase in that index since the period ending February 2023. And energy is going to continue to go up now that they've started this war in the Middle East. So if you can get gas cans and fill them up, buy gas cans and fill them up, get you some fuel stabilizer, store them. If you can buy propane, if you use natural gas, whatever, like you're going to really have to figure out how you're going to survive, because as our dollar is being devalued and inflation is increasing the price of everything, you're going to get less for your money. And in some instances, you're going to find you're going to either have to go without some stuff or whatever. So that's why it's really important, while you can, take your money and buy things that you will need in the future and stock up on them. There's not no time to be like, oh, I'm gonna just wait, or oh, I'm worried about how my house looks. I'm gonna keep my house clean and uncluttered. You better get you some water and stack it up to the ceiling. That's what you better do. You better get you some toothpaste or some baking soda, or whatever you gonna do. You better get it. You need deodorant. You like a certain kind. You better get it. You need soap to wash your butt. You better get it. You need toilet paper, or you figuring out, well, when toilet paper run out and I can't afford that, I need some rags. You better get you some rags. You got your creature comforts that you like, that you can store and stash long term. You better get those things, because your dollar is not going to go as far. It's already not, and it's only going to get worse, because that's a part of the chaos that's got to be created. So, um, here is a picture of the percent changes in all urban consumers, the price changes. So as you can see, everything is increasing. They have food at home, food away from home. They have the prices for September 2023, and you go up to March. And so you can see with some stuff the prices are fluctuating, but here it just gives you like the unadjusted 12-month that ended for 2024. You can always go back and look, but you'll see where, this is like seasonally adjusted changes. And that's like for Christmas, we're gonna, and this is how you know everything is a scam. So when they want you to go buy stuff, they'll adjust the rate so you'll shop, because they need your money. But then as soon as that season is over, they will increase the prices back to what they should be, and then the prices go down. So you'll see, like in October is Halloween, November and December it is Christmas time, Thanksgiving. February is nothing, Valentine's Day, so it goes back on like it was in September. In March, same thing. So you have to pay attention to like what's happening in that particular month, and when they want you to go to the store and spend your money. So this is why it's important to get off of these pagan holidays and understand that all these holidays are nothing about they're all about consumption and worshiping demonic stuff that don't have nothing to do with the Most High. So same thing with energy. Energy September 1.8, and the price decreases during the holidays. February go back up. Fuel, same thing. So You go down to all commodities, less the food and energy, you'll see same patterns. Um, Medical, and then the other thing is like it depends on what it is. Like with medical, you'll see this is September, October, November. The people start getting sick. December, folks maybe not going to the doctor as much. Then you see the increase again. But like we just can't control any of this. Like, and especially if um, we're dealing with bio weapons um, being put out into the atmosphere at certain times of the year, things that are just typically not natural. It's just really wild to me. Um, it talked about the new cars and trucks and the used cars and trucks. The price is cheaper to get those things now because they want you to get new stuff. They don't want you to buy old stuff. And they are talking about the old stuff like it's bad. So all this talk about uh clean energy, yada yada yada, got people running out to get these clean energy cars. So that means the value of the old stuff has decreased, which is good if you need to get something old, which I recommend. Everybody ought to be trying to buy a box Chevy from the 80s. Get your old Nova from the 70s and 80s. Get old stuff. Trust me, it's something with a carburetor. So it will be worth more later. Um, so beneath here, they'll talk about food, they'll talk about energy, they'll talk about all items less food, not seasonally adjusted price measures, and then they'll have notes at the bottom. So I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I just want to get y'all to really start looking at this stuff so you can pay attention to the trends because there's a trend happening. You can go back and look years. I've known this stuff for years, which is why when I try to talk to people about holidays, and I used to try to tell people this stuff from a business perspective. Years ago, people used to be like, "Oh, you're so salty. Oh, you're so pessimistic. Oh, you're so," but they don't really understand the business side of these pagan holidays. Um, and how much these people control every aspect of our lives. They have us so entrenched in traditions and our emotions and things that we are mentally connected to because of our emotions associated with these particular days or seasons or whatever. At the end of the day, we're all on a plantation. We're all enslaved. Nobody owns nothing. You don't even really do what you want to do. You are subconsciously. I'm sorry about that, y'all. My window is open. We are subconsciously controlled by the powers. They want to get our money. And their goal is to just make us spend our money all the time. We just work to pay people. We work to buy stuff. We work to give our money to other people. This is why it's really important for you to become self-sufficient. And which is why I want to give a shout out to Brother Yuta when he was telling me about, how much water they have stored, um, how they have fruit trees and vegetables that they're growing. They live off the land. Um, and life is good for them. Like that is the best way to be. The less dependent you can be on this system, the better off you're going to be. And it's really important that you start changing your mindset and becoming less reliant upon the system. Like, don't rely on TV to entertain you. Learn how to do stuff like we used to do back in the day and teach that to your children. Learn how to uh, make your own food and improvise when you don't have something. Learn how to store things. Our folks were like king of recycling stuff. They didn't throw away nothing. They didn't throw away food. They gave it to the animals. They didn't I'll have to go to the store to buy a bunch of vegetables and stuff. What they did was they always, they canned extra stuff and they had food year round. They ate stuff that grew seasonally. And they knew what they were eating when they grew it. They didn't have a bunch of pesticides and stuff to put on their foods when they were growing it. They walked and looked at their stuff every single day, and when they noticed something, they tended to their gardens, um, kept critters out. Like, there are just things that we're gonna have to do. Go back to sewing. People didn't throw away clothes. They sold them and handed them down. They traded stuff. I can remember wearing hand-me-down stuff, even from my mom. We didn't get a whole bunch of stuff. I worked and bought my own stuff when I got to a certain age, but before then, I had a sister. My sister would get my stuff, and because I was the oldest, I got more new stuff than anybody. But I got some hand-me-down stuff from relatives, and I wore it. That we're going back to those times. I can remember washing my clothes in the bathtub because my mom didn't have money to go to the laundromat, or she just didn't want to go to the laundromat. But I remember washing my clothes in the bathtub, wringing them out, and hanging them up around the house. Or we had like a home clothesline where you could just put the clothes um, on a rack in the house and dry them. We hung them up on chairs, on the doors, doorknobs. And then when the clothes dried, we had to iron them. We had starch, and we didn't have the starch like spray starch. We had starch in the box, and you had to put it in a bottle with water, shake it up, spray it on the clothes. Like, I'm grateful for those times because I can survive. But there are a lot of people who have no recollection or were never taught any of those things. And so they are going to catch it. As the prices of things go up, we're not going to be able to get as much with our money. We're going to have less food because you're not going to be able to afford food. And then they're going to start introducing all these other alternatives. You're noticing even the bad stuff is expensive now. So that's how you know things are getting bad. Boxed cereal and stuff like that that's not good for you. Processed foods are expensive. Meat is expensive. Um, and not only that, like, we can't even trust what we're getting in the store. But you get vegetables and fruit; they don't taste like nothing. They have no nutritional value. So you have to try to find people who are growing stuff in their yard or selling stuff on the side of the road to get food that tastes like something. Even if you grow your own stuff, like I grow, I just threw some collard greens on the side of the house, but they just growing like crazy. So, um, and I cook them. They taste so good. Even if I don't cook them right away, I will wash them and cut them up, put them in the refrigerator, in the freezer, I'm sorry, and then cook them at a later time. They taste so much better than stuff out of the grocery store. They have a totally different taste and texture. So, we have to do a better job of being self-sufficient, and sufficiency, sorry, should really be on the minds of everybody who has a healthy brain. You're not going to be able to buy stuff out of the store. You're not going to be able to afford to eat and pay your rent. You're not going to be, all your money may go to just keeping shelter over your head. What are you going to do about food? So if you don't have stuff stored up until you can get stuff growing, you're going to have a problem. If you don't have no seeds and you eat up all your stuff that you stored, you're going to have a problem. So the goal is to become self-sufficient as possible. All right, y'all. I'm gonna put a link to these pages in the description. Please read them and learn about this on your own and follow the price index because things are going up for us. It's going up for everybody, but especially for Black people because the goal is to make sure we never have nothing. And so when you know this is their agenda, you don't want to be caught off guard and unaware of what's coming. The adversary has many devices to take us out, and this is one of them. So I just want to make y'all aware so that y'all can learn how to not listen to what they say, but watch what they do. And they have patterns. Ain't nothing new under the sun. They have a pattern. Um, they got MOs, things that they do all the time. They don't have to worry about nobody discovering it because people don't read. So the best thing you can do for yourself is begin to read and understand what's coming, because nothing is going to change. It's only going to get worse. So, with that said, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. I know this is not a sexy, flashy, fun thing to talk about, but it's really important because the prices of everything, it's rising. The prices are going to continue to rise, and living in this country, in Western nations in general, is going to become unaffordable. It's going to not be. You're not going to be able to live alone. You're not going to be able to survive off of your income. And I started out doing this project for research, just studying about the difficulties seniors and people who are retired are going to have living on a fixed income. For those of us who work, it's the same thing. If you work and you got a job, you're getting the same kind of money every 2 weeks or every week or however you get paid. We all going to experience the same thing. It doesn't matter if you work for somebody or if you get a pension. You still have a finite amount of money, and you're going to have to be able to do other things for yourself to survive, whether it's grow a garden, whether it's hustle, whether it's be a shade tree mechanic, whether it is do house calls because you have a some type of healthcare certification, or you're a healthcare professional, you are an agriculturalist, you grow food and animals, whatever. Like, the that time is here. If you don't know how to do nothing, I feel sorry for you. Nobody's going to want to pair up with you. If all you know how to do is make YouTube videos, scroll on the internet, and do nothing that can sustain people, you're going to have a problem because nobody's going to want you in their circle. You're going to be seen as invaluable. If all you know how to do is talk and complain, nobody definitely is going to want you in their circles. You don't know how to feed animals. If you're scared to work, go outside, get dirty. If you're unteachable, you're not going to want you be wanted in anybody's circle. So some of y'all need to get humble. For real, for real. Like, humble yourself, learn how to do something, and be useful. Sex is going to be out of the question because I'm just keep it real. People are going to be assaulted when things go terribly wrong, and people will exchange sex for whatever they need if people have something of value. Um, so just thinking, oh, I'm pretty, I'm gonna be able to have sex, and sex gonna get me out of everything. Nope, that's not gonna work, baby. You need to learn how to sew. You need to learn how to make some butter. You need to learn how to do something of value, because sex and being pretty is not gonna get you any place. Being an influencer is not gonna get you any place. And they got all these people hooked on this idea that those things matter. Those things will not matter when this economy collapses, or when there's an attack, or when the lights go out and you have no power and you have no food. None of that stuff matters. Who you gonna influence? The internet ain't gonna work, and we ain't gonna have no power, so you ain't gonna be influencing nobody. Take off them helicopter eyelashes, honey, and read some books. Learn how to do something and be useful. Learn how to garden. Brothers, stop chasing these women who are of no value, who don't know how to do anything. They can't cook, they can't clean, they don't like to go outside, they don't like to get dirty, they gotta have long fingernails like eagle's claws, and so they can't touch nothing. What's gonna happen when the weak store closes because all the Asian people done left and went back to their countries because they already know what time it is? Everybody gonna be walking around looking ugly with wigs. What's gonna happen when you can't glue the thing down? What's gonna happen when you don't have no eyelash glue? Or your makeup is not gonna work no more because you can't wash your face. Your skin all broke out because you can't clean your skin because you didn't prepare. You didn't put any water back. You didn't buy any, disposable cleaning products to at least wash your face and brush your teeth. Y'all, It's going to be rough out here. It's going to be rough in the hood. It's going to be rough living around our people because they're not going to be prepared. So read these things, practice reading, learn how to make yourself useful, become skillful, be humble, learn how to ask people for help, learn how to be of help to somebody. Quit trying to use people and scam folks and be a narcissist. Always self-centered, thinking about yourself and not thinking about other people. People gonna remember that you. And when things get bad, they're not gonna want to help you. You never know who's prepping. You never know who's trying to put food back. You never know what people know how to do. You don't know people's upbringing. And I would much rather be around people who are skilled, who know how to do stuff, even if they ain't nice people. I would still rather be around people who know how to survive than stupid nice people who don't know how to do nothing and who are um, out of shape, don't know how to work. All they do is complain and whine and act like babies. I don't want to be around those types of people. And we're coming to a point where I can see quickly with these price indexes that life is going to be intolerable soon. So we got to do what we got to do in order to try to navigate these times because the goal is to endure to the end. So if you're prepping now, maybe you can make it to the end. I don't know if you're going to make it to the end. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the end. But at least seeing these things coming down the pipe, you can prepare. So if you have resources, if you have money, do something with your money because food is going to be to such a point where you can't buy it or you can't buy much of it. And if you have a family or if you're on a fixed income, if something happens and income stops coming, you need to be ready for that. All right, this is Marta K. Love y'all, and I'm out.